based on state law. The next item is an ordinance adopting the annual budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018, providing for the separability of the provisions hereof, and providing that this ordinance shall become effective October 1st, 2017. Whereas the city manager prepared and on July 1st, 2017 submitted to the commission a budget estimate for the expenditures and revenues of all city departments, divisions, offices, and properties for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2017, and copies of such estimate have been furnished to the newspaper and library in Coral Gables and posted at the front door of City Hall. And whereas the budget estimate submitted to the commission on July 1st, 2017 in the amount of $193,658,399 has been revised by the city manager to include revenue and expenditure decreases in the amount of $1,302,569, bringing the total budget amount to $192,355,830. And let me read, in addition to that, Section 1, that the following summary of estimated revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018 is hereby agreed upon and adopted along with the supporting data relating thereto on file with the Finance Department of the City of Coral Gables as the official 2017 through 2018 budget of the City of Coral Gables. This includes total operating revenues of $177,552,029, total transfers from reserves of $14,803,801, total revenues of $192,355,830, total operating expenditures of $161,913,702, capital projects in the amount of $20,733,111, total debt service appropriation of $8,315,613, total transfers to reserves of $1,393,404, total expenditures of $192,355,830. In addition to that, one moment. We have a lot of documents. Mr. Budget Director, is that everything? At this time, these items are being consolidated for purposes of the public hearing. This is a public hearing, so the public will have an opportunity to speak. And with that, I turn it over to the Finance Director, Mr. Mayor, and the Budget Director. Yes.
I believe we're going to start the meeting with a video for the assessments for fiscal year 17.
The City of Coral Gables had a very successful fiscal year 2017. Before we forge ahead, let's take a look back at some of the accomplishments of each of our departments this past fiscal year. The City Manager's Office fostered an environment of innovation and improvement with the introduction of a citywide process improvement program, performance measurements, Six Sigma training, team building, customer service training, and other initiatives. By strengthening its executive management team, it provided top leadership in the development of new public safety strategies and the implementation of the $28.7 million Miracle Mile / Giralda Streetscape projects. Finally, it launched a 3-year strategic plan which defined the city's mission, vision, and core values, and will serve as a guide to take the city to a world-class level of excellence. The Office of Communication pushed for more social engagement through the use of the City of Coral Gables Facebook page, a popular site with now more than 9,000 likes. Collaborating with human resources and police departments in the recruitment of police officers, various police recruitment videos were produced, including a creative Looking for a Few Jedi police recruitment video, which has reached 194,000 views so far. Not surprisingly, the city received an Award of Excellence for Best Use of Facebook from the City County Communications and Marketing Association. Coral Gables Television also received 8 Telly Awards for outstanding local cable television programs. This past year, Community Recreation achieved national reaccreditation exceeding national standards in over 100 different categories. The department was designated the Jeff Ellis Platinum Safety Award, the highest level awarded for open water, and once again received the designation of Playful City USA. Community Recreation implemented operations for several recently completed capital projects, including the Adult Activity Center, Granada Golf Course, Coral Gables War Memorial Youth Center, Venetian Pool, and Biltmore Tennis Center. After 6 months of education and enforcement of local businesses, Development Services successfully sought full compliance of the styrofoam prohibition in the city. It also processed and renewed approval of zoning and land use changes for the North Ponce area. Development Services continued various permitting assistance programs for economic development initiatives, streetscape storefront renovations, victim assistance, and code enforcement cases. A streetscape marketing campaign brought many new events such as the Downtown Event Series, featuring Jazz in the Gables, Wellness Wednesdays, and Movies on the Mile, The Pumpkin Patch, and Giralda Al Fresco. Freebie, a free door-to-door electric vehicle transportation service for downtown, was also introduced. The campaign Coral Gables Means Business was launched to proactively recruit new businesses to Coral Gables and supporting existing businesses through educational programming, such as a visual merchandising seminar. Economic development also facilitated the acquisition of a new public safety building and negotiated a public-private partnership for use of the McBride Plaza for community events. The Finance Department attained a AAA bond rating from Fitch, which adds to the AAA bond rating bestowed upon the city by Standard & Poor's and Moody's in fiscal year 2016. This makes Coral Gables one of just 3 municipalities in the state of Florida to be recognized with this level of financial excellence. Finance successfully funded the first year of the new fiscal year 17 to fiscal year 19 strategic management plan. The Finance Department also successfully hired an external internal auditor to ensure compliance with all city functions and filled an internal audit/grants coordinator position to place an increased emphasis on centralizing the grants process. In 2017, the Coral Gables Fire Department was awarded the Mission Lifeline EMS Gold recognition for improving patient care and outcomes by the American Heart Association. Citizen surveys regarding our fire department were sent and achieved 98% satisfaction levels. All fire response benchmarks and advanced training and development objectives for firefighters and paramedics were achieved. This year, Historic Resources and Cultural Arts hosted a Certified Local Government Historic Preservation Training Workshop for the Florida Department of State Division of Historical Resources at the Biltmore Hotel. Additionally, it instituted an online grant application and process system for the city's long-standing cultural grant program and recommended to the City Commission 32 grants to regional nonprofit organizations presenting cultural programs in Coral Gables. Lastly, it expanded the reach of the city's public art collection through an online interactive map showing locations and providing information about each artwork. Police recruitment was strong with the city, receiving and reviewing 4,674 public safety applications. A benefit policy for all part-time regular staff was implemented for the first time. Wellness initiatives this past year included Lunch and Learn series presented by Florida Blue, healthier snacks and vending machines, and health fairs for employees. Closed-circuit television and automated license plate reader enhancements were introduced at Miracle Mile, Giralda, Country Club Prado, Ferdinand Park, Ingram Park, Ponce and 8th Street, Granada and Bird Road, along with a mobile CCTV trailer and further improvements to the Crime Intelligence Center. A facility management electronic and mobile process was introduced to better manage the buildings and structures that house city operations, moving away from paper and toward electronic inventory of our assets on GIS maps. Upgrades to our technology infrastructure included our enterprise telephony systems overhaul, enterprise database systems upgrade, network infrastructure upgrades, and applications upgrades and enhancements, including a trolley mobile app and a homegrown traffic mobile app pilot to report traffic-related issues. The Labor Relations and Risk Management Department successfully negotiated collective bargaining agreements with the bargaining units represented by the Fraternal Order of Police and International Association of Firefighters. The department established a safety action team to promote safety awareness and safe work habits among city employees to reduce risk and loss exposure. Lastly, it worked with the city attorney's office to develop an ADA transition plan and conduct an inventory of all city facilities and department procedures, as well as expanded its inclusion resolution and initiatives to address all persons with disabilities. The parking department installed a GPS tracking system on the trolley fleet, allowing dispatchers to maintain headways by monitoring real-time location of the trolley and allowing passengers to know when the next trolley will arrive through an available rider app. Parking also repaired and restored approximately 3,500 monuments or street markers throughout the city. Lastly, the parking department installed 120 multi-space pay stations that provide customers with multiple payment options for on-street parking and provide staff with real-time operation reports. The Coral Gables Police Department implemented new strategies that resulted in an overall 6.8% reduction in crime from 2015 to 2016, including a 12% reduction in vehicle burglary and 14% reduction in residential burglary, the lowest rate in 15 years. CGPD improved vehicle safety through enforcement and innovative technology, resulting in a 3% reduction in traffic crashes citywide, a 20% reduction in traffic crashes at 5 intersections along US 1 and the downtown area, and a 60% reduction in traffic homicides from 2015 to 2016. The Neighborhood Team Policing Unit was expanded to have a Neighborhood Team Leader, or NTL, covering each neighborhood in the city. Public Works partnered to develop and hold 2 events where household electronics were collected for recycling. In total, over 51,300 pounds of electronic waste was diverted from landfill and recycled, and almost 7,000 pounds of household hazardous waste was collected for safe and environmentally friendly disposal. The citywide tree succession project was completed, replacing dead, sick, and missing trees with new ones. The project resulted in the planting of 3,000 trees, adding species diversity and further beautifying our city for decades to come. Public Works also reduced sanitary sewer pump station flow rates in 7 basins by an aggregate of 72%. The reduced flow means less wear and tear on our infrastructure, significant reduction in our wastewater bills for Miami-Dade water and sewer, and in one of the basins, the lifting of a moratorium on new construction. The city held the first runoff commission election and the first online election for the city's retirement board. A successful leader retreat was held, focusing on employee development and technology innovation. The passport office served more than 10,000 customers per year, resulting in passport revenue increase by 50% over the previous year. The city attorney's office upheld the city's polystyrene ordinance, and state preemption over regulation of polystyrene and plastic bags was ruled unconstitutional. The city also passed the first plastic bag regulations in the state of Florida. The office developed the Cease and Desist ordinance and used the ordinance to accomplish various city goals, including addressing hourly rate motels and short-term rentals in the city, through a joint enforcement task force with the city of Miami. The office refreshed the abandoned real properties list as many properties on the city's registry came into compliance. Significant properties addressed include 1411 Mantua, 1200 Hardee, and 1549 San Rafael. And that was our look back at a very successful fiscal year 2017. We look forward to executing even better in 2018.
Thank you. Before I turn it back to the city manager, I just don't want to forget, we do need to do a vote to allow Commissioner Quesada to participate in this budget hearing as well.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. That participation is because, and we just need to make sure this is on the record, the commission has already voted twice in 2 other hearings about this, but it's because Commissioner Quesada can't be here. There's obviously there's a storm going on. He had to leave because his father-in-law had a medical emergency, and so he has to be with him. So that's why he can't be here. So.
Yeah, Keith Kleinman up to present the proposed budget for next year. Now, before you do, I'm sorry, you'll remember we had an extensive budget workshop with you all. We gave you the binders in early July. You've asked questions and followed up over that time. And so this is the the first hearing of the budget, but it is the same budget that you saw at your workshop and that you have been provided by binder.
Good evening, Commission, Madam Manager, Mr. Attorney. Okay, we're here to discuss the FY18 budget, the operating budget, as well as the capital component of it. And we're going to start with the first slide. If it works. There we go. Actually, I'm sorry. This is to show you where we are. We created a calendar. We showed this before. We discussed this at the workshop. And you can see right now we're on the second to last item, the first budget hearing. There's one more on the 26th. And there's still time to make changes during that if something comes up. We prefer not to because we have to have a advertisement in the paper within the next few days. So you're going to have a chance to vote on the budget today as well as on the 26th. Before you now is the balanced budget on a very high level. Annual revenues, $177.5 million. Transfers from fund balance of $14.8 million for a total revenue budget of $192.3 million. And just to make sure everybody understands, these are planned uses of fund balance. Okay, we are not touching our 25% reserve. We may believe it's not there. Okay, the expended budget operating is $161.9 million. The capital additions for FY18, $20.7 million. And debt service is $8.3 million, for a total operating budget of $190.9 million. Transfers to fund balance of 1.4 equals the balanced budget of $192.4 million. We're going to go through some of the revenue increases. Oh, thank you. We're going to go through some of the revenue increases now. Property tax, $4.1 million. And that now is based on the July 1 numbers. Our values went from 15.24 to 15.024 to 15.172. It brought in an extra $230,000, which is included in these numbers here. Automotive parking fees, this increase is due to the increase in fees that we put into the budget in FY17 as well as 18. They're not as high as they're going to be until the streetscape is finished. We went very conservatively because there's so many areas which the parking is not allowed. Stormwater fees, the $444,000 represents the money that's going to be set aside for sea level. And this number here represents the Commission's adoption of the 10-year build-up program. The previous budget that was shown on the workshop was based on a 5-year build-up program, but we showed several options, and the Commission chose this one, which we recommended as well. Okay, stormwater fee, utility service fees going up by $425,000. Investment income, $334,000. Capital project assessment fees, that's to the owners of the properties along Miracle Mile and Giralda. Business tax receipts, $173,000, and that represents the 5% that we're allowed every other year. Rentals and concessions based on contractual agreements, $164,000. And you see some of the minor ones there. Golf fees are up 96.5, and that's just basically catching up to the older trend since the construction at the golf course. Total revenue increases, $7 million. Revenue decreases. Now, the first few items are one-time grants that are in the budget. If they are not spent by the end of this fiscal year, we will reappropriate them in the first quarter of next fiscal year, but we do not include them here until we know exactly how much they will be. The intergovernmental revenues are smaller grants. That's the $831,000. Again, they're one time. They may or may not be reappropriated depending on if they're spent. The Biltmore Complex, that represents a reduction in debt service that is directly related to the Biltmore Complex, so they are no longer obligated to give us that money. We retired it during FY17. Yes, there was long-term debt. A component of it belonged to the Biltmore. Actually, they have two components. One is about $250,000, the other was about $500,000. And that larger component was paid off and retired during FY17. So there's no more principal to be paid off. So that their responsibility to us has gone down as the debt has gone away. Miscellaneous revenues decreasing by 353. That was actually mostly one-time item. We did well on our healthcare premiums, and we got a rebate. And that's basically what that is. The rest of the items, from public safety fees down to the transportation surtax, are basically just based on trend.
Miscellaneous revenues were a rebate, why is that a decrease?
I'm sorry, say it again?
The premium, we got a rebate, why
Yes.
is that a decrease?
No, it's a decrease, because in FY17, it was $314,000. It was a one-time item that we got, it was a rebate, so we're not budgeting, right? Okay. Okay, so the total revenue decreases, $7.8 million. So the net change in revenues, $786,000. Now we're going to go into the expenditure side of the budget. Personal services, and as I've mentioned last year, and for the new people on the commission, it is, it is purposely misspelled. It should say personnel, but going back to the beginning of budget lingo, they misspelled it, and I just do it just as respect for what they've done. It should say personnel services, but it's written in all the books as personal services. Just some budget fun, that's all. Anyway, so salaries, they're changing contractually by $2.6 million. Overtime is going up on a very minor amount of $22,000. Employee benefits, retirement, $293,000, which represents the 1.25% that we tick up the payment every year, almost like a CPI, to make sure we're constantly keeping up with things and constantly increasing the amount that we pay that's extra. FICA, $138,000, is related to the increase in salaries. Workers' compensation, we're actually doing very well. We reduced that budget to bring it down to $2.5 million. Health and other benefits, that is going up by $523,000. That is contractual due to the FOP contract. Okay, so the total change in personal services is $3.1 million. Below personal services, we have professional services. That's gone up by $331,000, and there's a lot of ups and downs in that. I do have details if anybody wants to know what that is. The repairs, maintenance, and utilities are one-time items we put in the budget for FY18. They will come out going into FY19. Now, the other large numbers here, this $901,000, the $1 million, and the $837,000 are one-time items included in the FY17 budget or reappropriated from the FY16 budget that are no longer in the budget for FY18. We balanced the budget now with some of the decreases that we got from the state, and I'm going to go into details of that. And you can see the number, I'm sorry. You can see the number here, $384,000 was to come out of the contingency account, which was planned, and we covered some benefit items for the employees and rebalancing the budget out of that, still leaving us with a $2 million contingency. Grants, one-time items going down by $146,000. Fleet replacement is a reappropriation from the previous year, so we are still coming up with the full amount of the matrix. You can see is $3.3 million. So total operating decreases is increases $806,000. Now, capital. We made some really big investments in capital for FY18. It's about $20 million. With the addition of the fleet, it's almost $24 million. I'm just going to read off the large category numbers. If anybody has any questions, please stop me. So capital equipment is $1.6 million. Non-historical facility improvements, $1.5 million. Historic facility repairs and restorations, $2 million. Motor pool, there you see it, almost $3.3 million. Parking improvements, $1 million. Parks and recreation, $3.3 million. Public safety improvements, $1.6 million. Transportation and right-of-way improvements, $5 million. Utility repairs, $4.6 million, for a total capital budget of almost $24 million.
Quick question. I have a few items that I want to see if we can address them really quickly. Do we know, Madam Manager, if the budget includes the necessary monies for the Monegro residents?
Yes, can you explain the street and improvements?
Oh, yes.
And how we budgeted
It's
for it?
actually already in FY17.
Okay, perfect.
We made money available there, so there's 300 or 350,000 for the street ends.
Perfect.
Okay.
Do we have, I was trying to review it as quickly as you were going through it. Do we have monies there for our new proposed recycling bins?
Yes,
We do?
New recycling bins.
it says here you do.
I saw where it said.
Recycling
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes,
in parks and
$96,000,
right-of-ways?
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's already in the budget from the previous year.
Oh, okay, so it's in this, in the previous, 2017,
It's
not in
carried
20.
over,
Yes.
sir.
Perfect, perfect. I think that was it for now. I was gonna ask for lighting, but I think lighting is forthcoming, right?
We have significant dollars in lighting, but not the undergrounding, if that's the direction the commission wants.
No,
But
I
we
was
do
talking
have-
about the upgrading to LEDs.
Yes,
Yes,
we do have
we have
lighting.
components and details in there. I believe it's the previous slide. Yep, you see? LED streetlight conversion, there's an additional 150, and that's on
right.
top of monies already available. If you actually look in the actual budget book, you'll see prior years available in addition to what we gave in FY18.
Okay,
Okay,
go on.
any questions? Okay. We are doing our best to keep the head count down. This budget includes 5 new positions, 5 of which are all public safety related, 4 additional NSAs, and 1 property and evidence supervisor.
So that'll bring us the NSAs to 10?
Now it's 10.
I'd like to make a comment that in the 80s, in the late 80s, we had 850 employees, and we should be proud of ourselves in our efficiency. We're a bigger city, more functions, more services to the residents, and we have 836 employees.
That's great.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you
Are
for bringing
we,
that up.
I don't know that it would come into play for this upcoming budget, I guess, but with respect to annexation discussions that are ongoing, obviously to the extent that is forecasted to produce any additional positions, and
That's next fiscal year.
that would be the following fiscal year,
But
right?
we are working on that now.
Okay,
Yes.
It won't be included in this.
right. I figured as much, I just wanted to check.
Yeah, we think the earliest we would get any revenues starting, and it's still very close, would be FY19, as the manager said.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The proposed millage rate is the same as it was in FY17 and 16 at 5.559 mils. Now, the new average taxable homesteaded value on the, for the city's homesteaded homes, this does not include any type of commercial property, just residential, is $621,000. And if you apply 5.59 to it, the taxes, the city of Coral Gables portion of the taxes would be $3,454. That would be a proposed increase of $166. Okay, now we get to some of our best slides. You can see here the 5 full-service cities in Miami-Dade County, and you can see where Coral Gables is. It's the next to lowest, and the lowest being Key Biscayne, and they do not have some of the legacy issues we have. They don't have homesteaded properties as much as we do, and they don't have the pension unfunded liability. So we're doing rather well compared to the other cities. Now here, this is the wrong slide. I don't know why. We're supposed to be number 11. I'm not sure how this got in here.
I have 11.
Huh?
We have 11 in our,
You have 11
in our
on
copy.
your- I'm not sure how this got here. So it's supposed to be number 11, and it is based on all the proposed tax rates of the cities. So if they maintain their millage rates at what they propose, then we will maintain 11 now, dropping from 12. Okay, and another one of our favorite slides is the pie. You can see that for every tax dollar that our residents spend, only 30 cents of it goes to Coral Gables, yet we perform all the services that the residents enjoy. 0.29 goes to the county, 2 cents to regional, which are environmental issues, the water basin, and 39 cents goes to the school board.
That's what, $100 million a year?
It's incredible. I think you mentioned it was $1 billion over 10, right?
I'm sorry?
$100 million a year?
Goes to the school board.
$105 million a
Okay.
year.
Go ahead.
Oh, for the school board, yes, I'm sorry, yeah, I
105,
wasn't sure which one you were referring to. Okay, now the annual pension contribution. You can see the three components of it. The darker blue on the lower section is our required payment. The $3,347,000, that's the additional payment that was our commitment to pay. And then the 364, as you can see, it's increased from the prior year, represents the employees that are selecting the 401k as opposed to the pension. It's getting
We're
higher
paying
and higher every year.
$3.3 million a year extra payment to make up for the deficit.
Yes, for the unfunded
The
liability.
unfunded liability.
Go ahead.
I say the same comment every year. That is the commitment that we make to the employees of the city.
Right.
And that is by far more than I think any other commission has ever done. After we got ourselves into the situation of having our pension slip into the unfunded that it was in.
Right,
So
and it's also a commitment to the residents, because once we pay this off, our payment goes down drastically.
Of course.
I'm sorry, you're also seeing the increase on the 401, that more new
People are
employees that
adopting.
are entering.
Right.
And our pension actuary believes that the more we can totally reduce our risk through that avenue, the better it is for
Right.
us.
But I read an article the other day, it was very interesting, that they talked about how people are seeing, 401As, 401Ks, and that people are saying, okay, they're moving in that direction. People are saying, oh, because it allows them more flexibility. A lot of the people said they're moving in that direction because of the fear that they have of the over $150 trillion worth of unfunded liabilities at a national level. So people are saying they're scared of pensions because of the unfunded issue. So you see them transitioning a lot to 401As, which is, I think it's better for us.
It's an election, they
It's an
don't
election.
have to,
Yeah.
and but obviously they're responding.
Go ahead.
And our final slide shows that we are maintaining our commitment to the commission to maintain a 25% reserve based on the city's entire total operating budget that is held in general fund dollars.
Very impressive.
And that's it.
Thank you
Great
very
work.
much for the presentation. Very good presentation. Are
Thank you.
there any comments? This is a public hearing, right?
Yes, yes, Mr. Mayor.
Any members of the public that wish to testify? No members of the public. The public hearing is closed. Any comments from the commission? All right, do I hear a motion?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, so for the first item, which is the tax levy ordinance, that requires a 4/5 vote.
All
Just want
right.
to make sure you know that, and we need to do a vote on each item.
Do I hear a motion on the first item?
So moved.
Second?
Vice Mayor, second?
All right. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Lago,
Yes.
Commissioner Mena,
Yes.
Commissioner Casada,
Yes,
Vice Mayor Keon,
Yes.
Mayor Valdez Valley.
Yes. The second item, do I hear a motion?
The second item is the budget. Mr. Budget Director, that requires a 3/5 vote?
Yes.
Yes. 3/5 vote.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make
Come
the
on,
motion.
do I hear a motion?
I'll make the
Second the
motion.
motion.
People are asleep. I thought only Commissioner
well,
Casada
Commissioner
was asleep.
Casada's already voted yes, so he's not asleep. He just didn't
All
make
right,
a
Second the
motion.
motion.
Second, Commissioner, go ahead.
Commissioner
Will you call
Mena,
the roll?
Yes.
Commissioner Casada,
Yes,
Vice Mayor Keon,
Yes.
Commissioner Lago,
Yes.
Mayor Valdez Valley.
Yes. Anything else to come before the commission in this
Mr.
budget
Budget
hearing?
Director, do you have anything further? I have nothing further,
No, I
Madam
just
City
have
Manager.
one. Can the budget staff stand up, because you've done an excellent job, and we're really grateful.
Wonderful job.
Great work.
You have.
Great
Thank you
work.
very, very much for doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else to
Oh,
come before?
I'm sorry, it says clap, clap, clap. That's from Commissioner Casada. Thank you, sir.
Okay, anything else?
Can you do me a favor for the second hearing? Can you just provide us with a little graph that shows unfunded versus
Yeah,
funded?
sure.
If you don't mind?
Absolutely.
I think you included that last year, or may I be wrong?
I don't remember, I'll definitely do it.
I appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Okay.
Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned. Good job.